Hello, hello, hello. We are going to walk through using ProPresenter today. I'm going to do my best of going through the things that need to happen each week. I've got my list to the side up here, so hopefully I don't miss anything. And I'll be sectioning it all out in the timestamps so you can kind of look at the bottom and see which part you like. I'm going to go mostly in order to how I've done it. Please keep in mind that ProPresenter especially, I learned as I went. And so if there are any places that can be done more efficiently or in a better way than I have been doing them, please do that. And then let me know so I can learn more about it because I'm always up for learning more about what I don't know. So we're going to start here with Planning Center is where all of the information will usually come. Each week, it'll be sent out somewhere between Tuesday and Thursday, and it'll have kind of the flow of everything for the service. You may have already seen this. I'm sure you have. This is where all of our information will need to come from. And so I usually pull this up on this computer as well as ProPresenter. So as soon as this launches, ba-dink, ba-dink. Maybe. Oh, hey, we're open. We're thinking about showing up. There it is. Soon as ProPresenter opens, we will create a new playlist for the week. I'll usually title it with today's date. So today is the 23rd. So we'll start there. And we'll do most of this stuff like it has been for the last week. Now, songs are generally easiest to do first. So if you want to, you can look for the songs that are going to come in and we can go find those. This is where I belong. I have my heart. Start there. Most of these should be in our new default list. So we'll grab some from there and we'll see what to do if they're not in there in a second. Have my heart we needed. And then this is where I belong. And there we go. All right. We'll click there just to make sure that they both did make it in there. Perfect. Next, let's see. This is where I belong again. You are Love and Love Alone. So let's pretend, I believe it is in our library, but we're going to pretend for now that You Are Love and Love Alone does not exist in there. The easiest place to find them, if you don't already have them, is to File, Import, and pick Song Select. This is kind of a silly looking window. What did I say? You are love and love alone. It'll go away all the time if you click to something else. But if you type the title in, you should be able to find the song you're looking for here. You can say import. You can tell it to split the paragraph break. That may or may not happen the way you want it to. You can tell it to go to new default. I'm going to send this one to default so I can get rid of it later if I need to. And then you can pick to go straight to your playlist. You may change this later, but we've been using the 4 lines no background template. Works pretty well. Has 4 lines kind of freely available to it. It can go more than that, or it can go less. And I will see that, yeah, that's what we wanted. So you'll see that when it brought it in, this is not necessarily the format we would want it on the screens in the live stream. So you can either go edit the whole thing, or I found it's easiest to simply reflow. If you want to break up at 3 lines, you can click here and insert a slide break wherever you like to. So I'll come in and break up the song, and then come back to that show view. If you'd like to, if you want to copy and paste multiple of these, you can from here. Not entirely sure on this one, but I'm pretty sure that it only edits the one you are currently viewing. So it's not actually editing the presentation itself. So if someone were to import this again, they would have to switch these things around, I think. Also, you may have noticed that because I copied that one and pasted it after bridge, it went back to the bridge color. You can change that under right-clicking and then saying group. You can change which group it is. It will change everything kind of until the next title. So you can coordinate things like that. If there is ever a song that you do not have at all, it's not in here. Sometimes Lamar writes them or someone else, and you can't import it from Song Select. I have not found success with these because we're generally just doing lyrics on no background. And so I will say new presentation. I will give it a name. Again, I'm going to put this one, typically put it in new default, but I'm going to put this one where I can make sure that I remember to take care of it later. And then just adding text here. I will say the one big thing, it is generally easiest to duplicate the blank slides as you need them. You can add these again, and that's helpful too if you want a blank one, but a lot of times with songs, there are parts that repeat, so that might be useful. If you need the lyrics, they'll be in Planning Center, click the little attachment, and then you can click here. You can either download the PDF, or I usually just view it because they have all of the song stuff in here. Big deal though, when you grab these, and obviously keyboard shortcuts are your best friend, definitely don't just right click and say paste, because it won't even let you because it's not a thing. If you just right click and say paste, it'll look terrible. That one didn't. It'll generally look terrible. So what you are generally going to want to do is that paste and match style, because that'll apply the styles that are already in the presentation. And then, as I said earlier, you can break that up as necessary. Probably in here, although you could do it in Reflow. Again, here you're actually editing the presentation itself, and I know that for sure. So you can do that way as well. There we go. So we've added our songs. Next, you want to make sure there's nothing else in Planning Center that you need to add. If there are things like titles we need to give people, there might be images right here, especially for announcements. I generally download those, open up Finder, create a new folder in Documents and Service Assets. So we'll create a 11/23/21, and then I put those in there just so we know where they are. After you have them organized in that folder for later, you can click and drag them into, that's fine, new version. You can click and drag them into that media bin down there, and that's where we put all of our, pictures, titles, videos, stuff like that. If that's not visible, you can see it from View, Media Bin, and that's where that'll live. Looks like Shift V, or Control V. I'm not good with Mac shortcuts. What is that little up arrow? You tell me. Oh yeah, that must be Shift. Control, that's Command. We'll say Control V. Anyways, yeah, you can put all the things here that we'll need as far as assets and videos. You'll notice when you click videos, they do start playing, so just be aware of that. If you didn't know, you can clear one thing at a time. So up in our preview corner, we've actually got two things going on at once. I could just take away the lyrics, or if two things are on there, take away everything with that big X. In the case where there are assets that you need to create, I've generally found Google Slides to be the best. Plop it all on, download as a PNG is the easiest for me, and usually we don't need anything more detailed than that. But if there are, you can either offload that or ask Sam, Cesar, or plenty of other people that are good at creating those things. Next, if and when there are Bible verses included, so they will usually look like this, titled Scripture on screen under the message. If you've had any experience with ProPresenter, makes it really nice. I generally copy and paste so that I don't mess it up. But you paste that in there. Oh, didn't get it. Cool. So we're going to type it anyways, John 18, 33 through 37. And I have it set to the NRSV and to break it up by verse. If those are weird there, we'll see you can rearrange them in a second. For right now, you can take that, say save to playlist, and do the one we're building. It'll go right over there. In our presentation, back in the show, it'll show up exactly like we had it. And just like normal, you can reflow that if you would like in any way. And then you can put in multiple Bible verses as needed. All right, I think that's all the main parts. Once that's built, usually triple check it one more time. I look for things like, just so you know, Lord's Prayer also in new default. There we go. So that's all in there. I usually triple check that one more time, just looking for the attachments over here. It's easy to forget welcome graphics. It's easy to forget announcements. So I just make sure to look through those one more time. As a bonus, there are two things that I've found useful at different times. Timing these in the media bin automatically is not very easy. But if you create a small presentation of those slides, these all have a go to next timer. So I could select an entire presentation and say I want to add a go to next timer of 5 seconds. You can set it to loop if you want, if we're doing like a presentation during the service. Naturally, you probably wouldn't do this with a Bible verse, but for something like pictures and a slideshow, it may be useful to do that, and you'll see first the numbers in the top corner that show you what that timer is going to be, and then you'll see on the right side it counting down to that advancement of those slides. That can just be really nice for different things, and so I wanted to show you where that is, and we can remove it too if we need to. The other one, if you're ever having issues with things in the room on the screens, or not showing up over those NDI outputs, these are where those live. So in screens, you can choose configure screens, and this is where all of our outputs live. So the first one here, is Wirecast lower thirds. That one is titled down here, PP lyrics. That is an NDI output. And if you ever need to delete and remake these for some reason, the big deal is enabling that alpha key over here in this last section. That'll enable it to be transparent for part of it, so that we can put the lower thirds on, for instance. So we always want to keep that enabled for anything that's going to be half and half. I'll jump straight to the other ones that are going to Wirecast. Scripture and media are both set up exactly the same way. They're just an NDI output. If you need to add those again, new NDI, you can pick the size, and you see those are currently there. The other one is the Sanctuary screens. These are going through that Ultra Studio Mini monitor. So this, we actually do want to make sure that that monitor is checked. These, you'll notice, don't have an alpha because they're not a fake output. They're going to monitors. And you can tell it to output full. Yeah, that's where those things live, and that is generally how we set up a service. If there are any questions you have or any feedback you have, you can feel free to put them in the comments below or shoot me an email. Thanks so much. If you haven't watched the Wirecast one already, it'll be up alongside this. Go ahead and check that out. Thanks. Have a good one.